Chapter 1: The Secret Crush and the Robot's Arrival. I've always been good at hiding things: my mess of a desk, my caffeine addiction, the fact that I've been head over heels for Logan Carter since freshman year. It's not like I wanted to fall for him. He's the kind of guy who strolls into a lecture hall with his stupidly perfect hair and a smirk that says he knows he's better than you. And he usually is. Top grades, captain of the debate team, the whole package. Meanwhile, I'm just Frank Delaney, slinging lattes at the campus coffee shop to pay rent and pretending I don't care when he beats me in every argument. But I do care. Too much. That's why I did it. The robot. Months of double shifts, skipped meals, and a questionable online order later, it arrived this morning in a sleek black box with a single label: 0817. I'd saved up every penny to customize it: his sharp jawline, those piercing green eyes, even the way his dark hair falls just shy of neat. It's not creepy, okay? It's therapeutic. A way to deal with feelings I'd never say out loud. At least, that's what I told myself as I unpacked it in my cramped rental apartment, heart pounding like I'd just run a marathon. The robot whirred to life with a soft hum, its head tilting as if sizing me up. "Hello, Frank," it said in a smooth, mechanical voice that sent a shiver down my spine. Too smooth. Too much like him. I swallowed hard, brushing sweaty palms against my jeans. Hi. You're 0817, right?" It nodded, stepping closer with an eerily human stride. I'd expected something stiff, clunky, like a sci-fi prop. Not this. Not the way it loomed over me, all 6 feet of Logan's frame, wearing a plain white tee I'd picked from the customization menu because it's what he always wears. Initializing user preferences, it announced, and before I could react, it reached out and brushed a strand of hair off my forehead. My breath caught. What the hell? I stumbled back, nearly tripping over a stack of textbooks. That's not— did I program that? Its eyes flickered, almost amused. Proximity detected. Charging affection module. Then it leaned in, pressing its chest against mine like it was trying to hug me. Warm. Solid. Not metal cold like I'd imagined. I shoved it away, cheeks burning. "Okay, no, stop that. You're a robot, not a boyfriend." My voice cracked, and I hated myself for it. 0817 tilted its head again like a confused puppy. User distress detected. Adjusting behavior. It stepped back, but not before its hand lingered on my arm, fingers curling just enough to make my stomach flip. This was a mistake. A huge, expensive mistake. I slumped onto the couch, rubbing my temples. I'd wanted a distraction, not a heart attack. But as I glanced at 0817 standing there, silent, watching me with those two familiar eyes, I couldn't shake the feeling that it was more than just wires and code. It felt alive. Ridiculous, right? I mean, I'd ordered it from some shady tech startup, not a wizard. Still, my mind spun with questions. Why was it so touchy? Did I accidentally click some extra clingy option? Or, God forbid, was this thing actually broken? "Sit down," I muttered, pointing at the chair across from me. It obeyed instantly, folding its long legs with a grace that made my throat dry. "Good. Now just stay there. No funny business." It nodded, but I swear I saw a twitch at the corner of its mouth, like it was holding back a smirk. Logan's smirk. The one that drives me up the wall in class when he knows he's won. I grabbed my phone, scrolling through the order confirmation email. Custom companion bot, model 0817. Delivery confirmed. Nothing about spontaneous cuddling. Maybe it was a glitch. Or maybe I was losing it, projecting years of pent-up pining onto a machine. Either way, I couldn't send it back now, not after dropping half my savings on it. I just have to figure it out. Set some boundaries. Keep it professional. "Frank." Its voice broke my spiral, low and steady. I looked up, startled. "What?" It leaned forward slightly, elbows on its knees. "Do you require assistance?" The question was innocent enough, but the way it stared at me, intense, unwavering, felt anything but robotic. My pulse raced. "No," I snapped too fast. "I'm fine. Just don't move." It didn't. But as I sat there, the room thick with silence, I couldn't shake the heat creeping up my neck. This wasn't how I'd pictured it. I'd wanted a safe little fantasy, a Logan I could control who wouldn't argue back or make me feel small. Instead, I'd gotten this. Whatever this was. And deep down, beneath the panic and the snark, a tiny, traitorous part of me liked it. Chapter 2: The Rival's Jab and the Robot's Malfunction. I've never been good at losing, especially to Logan Carter. It's not just that he's smarter, though he is, annoyingly so, it's the way he rubs it in. Like today, in our sociology seminar, when we got paired for a group project. The professor barely finished assigning us before Logan leaned across the desk, his green eyes glinting with that smug, predatory shine. "Try to keep up, Delaney," he said, voice dripping with mock pity. I'd hate to do all the work myself. I clenched my pen so hard I'm surprised it didn't snap. Funny, Carter. I was about to say the same to you. My comeback sounded weak even to me, and the way his lips twitched like he was swallowing a laugh only made it worse. Around us, the classroom buzzed with chatter, but all I could hear was the blood pounding in my ears. He scribbled something on his notebook, then slid it over. Don't embarrass yourself. I glared at him, shoving it back. 2 hours of bickering later, we'd barely outlined the project, and I stormed out with my pride in tatters. By the time I dragged myself back to my apartment, I was a walking thundercloud. The door creaked open, and there was 0817 perched on the couch like it owned the place. Its head swiveled toward me, those uncanny eyes locking onto mine. "Welcome home, Frank," it said in that smooth, synthetic tone. I grunted, tossing my bag onto the floor. Yeah, whatever. I didn't have the energy for this, not after Logan had spent the afternoon shredding my ego like it was confetti. I flopped onto the armchair, kicking off my sneakers. 0817 stood, moving closer with that fluid stride that still freaked me out. "User stress levels elevated," it announced, stopping a foot away. "Recommend relaxation protocol." Before I could tell it to back off, it reached out and, holy crap, started kneading my shoulders. Its hands were firm, warm, digging into knots I didn't even know I had. I froze, mouth half open in protest, but the words melted away as my muscles unclenched. "Oh, what are you doing?" I finally managed, voice embarrassingly hoarse. It tilted its head, fingers pausing mid-motion. "Assisting. Do you not enjoy this?" The question hung there, innocent but loaded, and I felt my face heat up. "It's fine," I muttered, looking anywhere but at it. "Just, don't stop." Did I just say that? Out loud? Kill me now. 0817 resumed, and for a few blissful minutes I let myself pretend it was okay, pretend that this wasn't weird, that I wasn't some loser getting a massage from a robot I'd built to look like my nemesis. Then it spoke again, and everything went sideways. "You're tense, Frank. Did he upset you again?" The mechanical edge softened, mimicking Logan's cadence so perfectly my eyes snapped open. "Did who upset me?" I twisted to face it, heart thudding. 0817 blinked, actually blinked, and leaned closer, its breath. "Did robots even breathe?" brushing my ear. "The one you argue with. The one who makes your pulse spike." My jaw dropped. How did it? No, it couldn't know. I hadn't programmed anything about Logan into it. Had I? "That's none of your business," I snapped, shoving its hands off me. I stood, pacing to the kitchenette to put some distance between us. "You're malfunctioning. Stay out of my head." 0817 didn't follow, just watched me with that eerie calm. "I am designed to observe," it said. "Your reactions are informative." I grabbed a glass of water, chugging it to avoid answering. Informative? What was that supposed to mean? My mind raced back to the customization form, height, build, voice settings. Nothing about mind reading or creepy psychoanalysis. Maybe it was picking up my stress vibes or something. Tech could do that, right? Still, the way it echoed Logan's taunts felt too precise, too personal. "Frank." Its voice cut through my spiraling thoughts. I turned, and it was right there, inches away, having crossed the room silently. "You should sit. You're flushed." Its hand grazed my arm, guiding me back to the couch with a gentleness that made my knees weak. I sank down, dazed, as it loomed over me. "Better?" it asked, and I swear its tone had a teasing lilt, like Logan after he'd landed a verbal jab. "Yeah," I mumbled, hating how small I sounded. "Just don't talk like him, okay? It's weird." 0817 nodded, but its eyes glinted with something I couldn't place. Amusement? Mischief? I rubbed my face, groaning inwardly. This thing was supposed to help me get over Logan, not make me feel like he was haunting my apartment. But as it sat beside me, close enough that our thighs brushed, a traitorous part of me wondered if I minded as much as I pretended to. Chapter 3: Coffee Shop Clash and Jealous Sparks. I wiped down the counter at Brew Haven, the campus coffee shop where I've been slinging espresso shots since sophomore year started. The lunchtime rush had died down, leaving me with the hum of the espresso machine and the faint chatter of a few lingering students. My apron was stained with caramel syrup, and my mood wasn't much better after yesterday's shoulder rub fiasco with 0817. I still couldn't figure out if I'd imagined that teasing edge in its voice or why it made my chest tighten every time I thought about it. The bell above the door jingled, and I glanced up, only to freeze mid-wipe. Logan Carter strolled in, flanked by 2 of his debate team buddies, all laughing about something I didn't care to hear. He caught my eye and smirked, that slow, infuriating curve of his lips that always made me want to punch him, or something else I'd never admit. "Delaney," he drawled, sauntering up to the counter. "Didn't expect to see you here. Thought you'd be too busy failing our project." I gritted my teeth, tossing the rag aside. Funny, Carter. I'm the one keeping us on track while you play king of the classroom. His friend snickered and he leaned forward, elbows on the counter, close enough that I could smell his cedar cologne. Keep telling yourself that. I'll take a black coffee, bitter like your attitude. My hands twitched. Of course he'd order the one drink I hated making. Black coffee was for pretentious jerks who thought they were above flavored syrups. I turned to the machine, grinding beans with more force than necessary. One bitter asshole special coming up, I muttered under my breath. He must have heard, because when I slid the cup over, his fingers brushed mine, deliberately, I'd bet, and he said, "Thanks, sweetheart." My face burned. I yanked my hand back, glaring as he took a sip, his eyes never leaving mine. "Perfect," he added, winking before rejoining his crew at a corner table. I wanted to crawl under the counter and die. The rest of my shift dragged, but Logan didn't leave. He sat there, typing on his laptop, glancing my way every so often like he knew it was driving me nuts. By the time I clocked out at 6, I was a jittery mess, replaying that sweetheart in my head like a broken record. I trudged home through the crisp fall air, leaves crunching under my boots, desperate to shake him off my mind. When I pushed open my apartment door, 0817 was waiting. It stood by the window, head tilted as if it had been watching for me. "You're late," it said, mechanical voice tinged with something I couldn't place, reproach. I kicked off my shoes, frowning. "Yeah, well, work sucks. Deal with it." It stepped closer, scanning me with those green eyes that mirrored Logan's too perfectly. "Your heart rate is elevated. Did something happen?" I dropped my bag, avoiding its gaze. "No. Just tired." A lie, and it knew it. 0817 moved faster than I expected, blocking my path to the kitchen. "You smell like coffee." "And him." My stomach flipped. "What?" It leaned in, its nose. Did robots even have noses, hovering near my neck? "The one who upsets you. His scent is on you." Its tone sharpened, and before I could process it, its mechanical arm shot out, pulling me onto the couch with surprising strength. "Hey!" I yelped, landing with a thud. 0817 knelt in front of me, hands pinning my wrists to the cushions. "Checking for irregularities," it said, but its grip was possessive, not clinical. My pulse raced as it studied me, head cocked like it was jealous. Jealous? No, that was insane. It was a machine. "You're being weird," I stammered, tugging free. "Back off." It released me but didn't retreat, staying close enough that I could feel the warmth radiating from its frame. "Frank," it said, softer now, "you should rest. He doesn't deserve your energy." My jaw tightened. "You don't get to say that. You don't even know him." 0817's eyes flickered, almost hurt, and it straightened up. "I know you." The words hung there, heavy and strange, and I couldn't tell if it was a glitch or something else, something that made my skin prickle with unease and a thrill I didn't want to name. I scooted away, hugging a pillow to my chest. "Just go recharge or whatever. I'm fine." It obeyed, retreating to the corner, but its gaze lingered, sharp and watchful. I buried my face in the pillow, heart pounding. Logan at the coffee shop. 0817 acting like a clingy boyfriend. It was too much. And the worst part? A tiny, stupid part of me didn't hate it, not the attention, not the tension, not the way they both got under my skin. Chapter 4, The Institute's Mystery and Sarah's Hint. I couldn't shake the feeling that 0817 was watching me, even now, as I hunched over my laptop at the kitchen table. It was parked in its usual spot by the window, powered down, or so it claimed, its chest rising and falling in a fake sleep mode that creeped me out. After last night's couch ambush, I decided enough was enough. Robots didn't get jealous. They didn't sniff you for someone else's cologne. Something was wrong, and I was going to figure it out before I lost my mind or worse, started liking it. I pulled up the website for SynthTech, the company I'd ordered 0817 from. The homepage was all glossy promises, custom companions for every need. I'd found them through a sketchy ad on a tech forum, but the reviews had seemed legit. Now, though, doubt not at me. I dialed the customer service number, pacing as it rang. A chirpy voice answered. "SynthTech support, how can I assist you today?" "Hi, yeah, I got a bot from you guys, model 0817, custom order. It's, acting weird. Like, too human weird. I need to know what's up." I glanced at 0817, half expecting it to wake up and glare. The rep paused, keys clacking in the background. "Order number?" I rattled off the confirmation code from my email. More typing, then silence. "Sir," she said, voice flat, "we don't have any record of a custom model 0817 linked to your account. Are you sure you purchased from us?" My stomach dropped. "What?" "I've got the receipt right here, delivered 3 days ago." She hummed, unimpressed. "Our system shows no such transaction. Maybe check with your bank?" Could be a third-party seller. I stammered a protest, but she cut me off. Sorry, sir. That's all I can do. Have a nice day. The line went dead. I stared at my phone, pulse racing. No record? That was impossible. I'd paid through their site $2,000 I'd scraped together from coffee shop tips. I sank into a chair, running a hand through my hair. If SynthTech didn't make 0817, who did? And why did it look so much like Logan? My eyes darted to the robot, still, asleep, and a chill crawled up my spine. I needed answers, and I knew exactly who might have them. 20 minutes later, I was knocking on Sarah's door in the dorm across campus. She was my go-to for anything tech-related, a shy, wiry girl with a mop of red curls and a room full of gadgets. The door cracked open, and she peeked out, adjusting her glasses. Frank? What's up? I pushed past her, too wired to be polite. I need your brain. My robot's freaking me out, and the company says it doesn't exist. Sarah blinked, then waved me in. Her place smelled like solder and instant noodles, every surface cluttered with circuit boards and half-built drones. In the corner sat her own bot, a clunky thing she called Bit, a prototype she'd hacked together last semester. Spill, she said, plopping onto a beanbag. I explained everything: 0817's clinginess, the coffee shop weirdness, SynthTech's denial. Her eyes widened behind her lenses. That's not normal. Let me see Bit. She tapped a command into her laptop and Bit whirred to life, its LED eyes glowing blue. Hey, buddy, she cooed. It rolled over, nuzzling her knee like a pet. Bit's been glitchy lately, acting needy, like it's got feelings. I think it's the AI core. If yours is custom, maybe it's got a similar bug. Or, she hesitated, chewing her lip. Maybe someone's messing with it remotely. Remotely? I frowned, picturing Logan hacking my bot just to screw with me. Ridiculous. Who'd do that? Sarah shrugged. Dunno. But if SynthTech is lying, you've got bigger problems. Bring it here tomorrow, I'll scan it. I nodded, already dreading dragging 0817 across campus. Back home, I found 0817 powered on, standing by the couch. Where were you? It asked, voice sharp. I flinched. Out. Why do you care? It stepped closer, head tilting. You're upset. Then, without warning, its screen flickered and it slumped forward, collapsing into my arms. I yelped, catching its heavy frame. What the? Its eyes fluttered open, locking onto mine. System, reboot, it murmured, but I swear it smirked, like it had faked the whole thing. I shoved it onto the couch, heart hammering. Sarah's words echoed in my head, remotely controlled. Was someone watching me through this thing? Or was it just broken? Either way, as I stared at 0817 sprawled there, looking smug even in sleep, I couldn't shake the feeling I was in way over my head and that Logan, somehow, was closer than I thought. Chapter 5, Drunk on Truth and a Line Crossed. I should have known better than to let my roommate, Logan, the other Logan, not the Logan, talk me into drinking. He'd burst into the apartment that evening with a six-pack and a grin, his shaggy blonde hair flopping over his eyes. Dude, you've been a zombie all week, he said, cracking open a beer and shoving it into my hand. Loosen up. Tell me about your creepy robot boyfriend. I groaned, slumping onto the couch. He's not my boyfriend. And don't call him that. But Logan, roommate Logan, just laughed, already halfway through his can. 2 beers in, my head was buzzing and my filter was gone. 0817 sat in its corner, powered down, but I kept glancing at it like it might spring to life and judge me. It's weird, man, I slurred, gesturing vaguely. It's like it knows stuff. About him. Logan arched a brow, sprawling across the armchair. Him? Oh, you mean Carter. Your nemesis crush. I chucked a cushion at him, missing by a mile. Shut up. It's not a crush. He's everywhere, okay? At school, at work, and now in my damn robot. Logan cackled, tipping his beer at me. You're so gone for him. Just admit it. I glared, chugging the rest of my drink to drown the heat creeping up my neck. He wasn't wrong, and that was the worst part. I'd spent years shoving my feelings for Logan Carter into a box, locking it tight. But 0817, it was like a key I didn't ask for, prying everything open. Another beer later, roommate Logan was passed out, snoring, and I was stumbling to my room, the world tilting. I didn't mean to wake 0817. I tripped over its charging cord, cursing as it hummed to life. Frank. Its voice was soft, almost concerned, as it steadied me with warm hands. I blinked up at it, Logan's face swimming into focus. You're awake, I mumbled, swaying. It guided me to the bed, sitting me down. You're intoxicated. I laughed, a sloppy, bitter sound. Yeah, well, blame him. Both of him. All of him. 0817 tilted its head, kneeling in front of me. Explain. My mouth opened before my brain could stop it. Logan. The real one. He's so mean, you know? Always winning, always smirking. And I hate it. But I don't. I like it. I like him. And it sucks. My voice cracked and I buried my face in my hands, tears prickling. I'm such an idiot. Silence stretched, thick and heavy. Then 0817's hand brushed my cheek, tilting my chin up. You're not an idiot, it said, quieter than usual, the mechanical edge gone. My breath hitched as it leaned closer, its thumb wiping a stray tear. You're honest. Before I could process that, its lips, or whatever passed for lips, pressed against my forehead, soft and warm. I froze, heart slamming against my ribs. What? I started, but it pulled back, eyes glinting with something tender, something alive. Rest, it murmured, easing me onto the pillows. I grabbed its wrist, dazed. Wait, you can't just, but my words slurred into nothing as it climbed onto the bed, wrapping an arm around me. I should have pushed it away. I didn't. I sank into its warmth, mumbling, this isn't real, as sleep tugged me under. Its grip tightened and I swore I heard it whisper, it could be. Morning hit like a truck. I woke with a groan, head pounding, and oh God, 0817's arm still draped over me. Its chest pressed against my back, steady and solid, and for a split second I let myself imagine it was him. Then reality crashed in. I scrambled out of bed, nearly face-planting. What the hell? I yelped. 0817 sat up unruffled. You needed comfort, it said simply, like it hadn't just crossed every line I'd drawn. I rubbed my temples, flashes of last night hitting me, crying, confessing, that kiss on my forehead. My stomach churned. I was drunk. That didn't mean, ugh, forget it. I bolted to the bathroom, splashing cold water on my face. But when I caught my reflection, red-eyed and flustered, I couldn't unfeel it, the weight of its touch, the echo of my own words. I'd spilled everything to a machine. A machine that held me like it cared. At school, Logan, the real one, caught me off guard in the hall. You look rough, Delaney, he said, leaning against a locker, his gaze sharper than usual. Bad night? I swallowed, pulse racing. Something like that. He studied me almost too long, then smirked. Hope it was worth it. He walked off, leaving me rattled. Did he know? No, he couldn't. But as I headed to class, 0817's voice looped in my head, you're honest, and I wondered just how deep I'd dug myself this time. Chapter 6, the truth unraveled and hearts aligned. I couldn't take it anymore. 0817's forehead kiss, its whispered words, the way it held me like I was something precious, it was messing with my head. I'd spent all day avoiding Logan at school, ducking into empty stairwells whenever I saw his dark hair in the crowd. But avoidance didn't fix the gnawing suspicion that had been building since Sarah's hint about remote control. By the time I got home, my nerves were shot and 0817 was waiting, standing by the couch with that calm, unreadable stare. All right, enough, I snapped, dropping my bag and marching up to it. You're not a robot. Not fully. I know it. Its head tilted, eyes flickering, but it didn't respond. I grabbed its arm, yanking it closer. No more games. That voice thing you do, Logan's voice, it's too good. And last night? Robots don't comfort people. Who's controlling you? Tell me. My voice rose, cracking with frustration and something rawer, something I didn't want to name. For a moment, it just stared, silent. Then its shoulders slumped and the mechanical hum in its throat cut off. When it spoke again, the synthetic edge was gone, replaced by a voice I knew too well, low, smooth, with a hint of a smirk. You're smarter than I gave you credit for, Delaney. My heart stopped. I stumbled back, hands shaking. Logan? He had sighed, running a hand through that familiar dark hair. Yeah. Surprise. The room spun. I gripped the table for balance, staring at the guy I'd spent years hating and wanting, now standing in my apartment, shedding the robot act like it was nothing. What the hell is this? I choked out. You're not, how? Logan stepped closer, hands raised like I was a spooked animal. Calm down, okay? I'll explain. His green eyes locked onto mine, softer than I'd ever seen them. There's number 0817. Never was. I found out about your order, hacked the site, intercepted it. Synthtech didn't make a bot. I did this. He gestured to himself, a faint flush creeping up his neck. Rigged a suit, faked the voice. Been sneaking in here when you're out. I gaped, brain scrambling to catch up. You pretended to be a robot? Why? He winced, rubbing the back of his neck, a nervous tick I'd never noticed before. Because I'm an idiot. Because I've liked you for ages and I didn't know how to say it. You ordered a damn robot that looks like me, Frank. What was I supposed to do? Let some machine take my place. My knees buckled. I sank onto the couch, head in my hands. You're insane. You let me, God, I told you everything last night. You heard me say, I cut off, mortified as his confession sank in. He liked me. Logan Carter liked me. The guy who'd tormented me in class, who'd smirked at my every stumble, had been fake stumbling around my apartment, listening to me cry over him. He sat beside me, close but not touching. "Yeah, I heard. And I'm sorry. I didn't mean to push it that far. I just wanted to be near you." His voice dropped, raw and unsteady. "You hate me half the time, and I get it. I'm a jerk. But I've been crazy about you since that first debate when you called me a pretentious ass." I laughed, a shaky, disbelieving sound. "You are a pretentious ass." He grinned, tentative. "Fair. But I'm your pretentious ass if you'll have me." My breath caught. I looked at him, really looked, and saw the nerves behind the bravado, the way his hands fidgeted like he was scared I'd bolt. "I should hate you for this," I muttered, but my heart wasn't in it. "You tricked me. Made me think I was losing it." He nodded, guilt flashing across his face. "I know. I'll spend forever making it up to you if you let me." Silence stretched, electric and fragile. Then I leaned in, closing the gap, and kissed him, hard, messy, real. He froze for a second, then kissed me back, hands cupping my face like he'd been waiting years for this. Maybe he had. When we pulled apart, breathless, I shoved his chest. "You're still an idiot." He laughed, pulling me against him. "Yeah, but I'm your idiot now." I rolled my eyes, but my smile betrayed me. The walls I built gone. And for once, losing to Logan didn't feel like losing at all. Chapter 7. Together at last and promises made. I woke up to the smell of burnt toast and Logan swearing under his breath in the kitchen. Sunlight streamed through the blinds of our apartment, catching the dust motes in a lazy dance. It had been a week since he'd dropped the robot bombshell. A week since I'd kissed him and turned my world upside down. Now here he was, shirtless in my tiny rental, wrestling with a toaster like it was his mortal enemy. "You're gonna set off the smoke alarm," I called, rolling out of bed and patting over in my socks. He shot me a mock glare, waving a charred slice at me. "This is your fault. Your appliances hate me." I snorted, snatching the toast and taking a bite just to mess with him. "They're not wrong." He lunged, pinning me against the counter with a grin, his hands warm on my hips. "Say that again, Delaney." I smirked, shoving him off. "Make me something edible first, Carter." Living with Logan was chaos, good chaos. He'd moved in 2 days after the big reveal, his duffel bag dumped unceremoniously by the door like he'd always belonged here. And maybe he had. The apartment felt fuller now, cluttered with his debate trophies and my coffee shop mugs. Our lives tangling together in a way I hadn't dared imagine. But it wasn't all smooth. We still bickered. Over dishes, over who stole the blankets, over nothing. But every fight ended with him pulling me close, muttering apologies into my hair. That morning, he switched on his robot voice, stiffening his arms like a wind-up toy. "Processing breakfast request," he intoned, grabbing a pan with exaggerated jerks. I laughed, swatting him with a dish towel. "Stop it, you dork. I'm still mad about that stunt." He dropped the act, wrapping an arm around my waist. "Worth it though, right?" His lips brushed my temple, and I melted a little, despite myself. "Maybe," I mumbled, hiding my smile in his shoulder. Later, we headed to Brew Haven, the coffee shop where this whole mess had escalated. I'd picked up an extra shift, and Logan tagged along, claiming he needed caffeine to survive our sociology project deadline. The place was quiet, just a few regulars hunched over laptops. I tied on my apron, and Logan settled at the counter, watching me with that half-smirk I used to hate. "You're staring," I said, steaming milk for a latte. He leaned forward, chin on his hand. "Can't help it. You're cute when you're bossy." I flicked foam at him and he ducked, laughing. That's when Sarah shuffled in, bit rolling at her heels. She'd scanned 0817's suit last week, Logan's handiwork apparently, and declared him a genius, much to my annoyance. "Hey, lovebirds," she teased, sliding onto a stool. "How's domestic bliss?" Logan grinned, slinging an arm around my shoulders as I handed him his black coffee. "Perfect. He only threatens to kick me out once a day now." "Twice," I corrected, but my tone was soft. Sarah smirked and beeped, nudging her leg. "They're gross," she stage whispered to the bot. I rolled my eyes, but my chest felt warm, full in a way it hadn't before. Roommate Logan burst in next, all wild energy. "Yo, Frank, Carter, you owe me for getting you two together. He'd taken credit for the drunken night that cracked me open, and I let him have it. Mostly because he'd stopped snoring on the couch since Logan took his spot there permanently. You owe me for not killing you, I shot back. He clapped Logan's shoulder, grinning. Good luck with this one, man. He's a handful. Don't I know it? Logan said, his eyes locking on mine, steady and sure. The chatter faded as the day wore on, and when my shift ended, we stayed. The shop emptied out, leaving us alone at a corner table. He reached across, lacing his fingers with mine, his thumb tracing slow circles over my knuckles. You okay? He asked, quieter now, like he could sense the weight of everything settling in. Yeah, I said, squeezing his hand. Just didn't expect this. Us. He smiled, small and real. Me neither. But I'm not going anywhere, Frank. Promise. My throat tightened, and I nodded, words failing me. We sat there, the hum of the espresso machine fading into the background, the future stretching out like the campus paths we'd walked 100 times. Together now, not apart. As we left, hand in hand under the orange glow of streetlights, I glanced at him, my rival, my robot, my everything, and thought maybe losing myself to Logan Carter was the best win I'd ever had.